Hello, today is, well, actually, this video is going to be made for, or it's going to be made for the 27th of May for second grade, secondary. My name is Ricardo Cuevas, okay? Now I'm going to switch the screen to begin with the class, and we're going to be working with your book, as you know. Okay, now as you can see, we're going to start with unit number 8. And this is going to be interesting because we are going to talk about fear, scary things and things like that. And it says the fear of the unknown. Wow. Okay. Now this is something that we're going to be learning about grammar. It says morals of speculation, moral perfects of speculation. Vocabulary, we're going to learn vocabulary related to mysteries, negative prefixes, challenge, speculate, and solve problems in groups. Okay. Now interaction, interrupting and continuing a conversation. And in the writing part, we're going to write a story. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Now let me go back to your book right here, and it says, read the description of the novel and discuss the questions with a partner. This is the description of this novel, Dark Matter, a ghost story by Michelle Paver. Okay, now the information that we have here, it says, Dark Matter is a ghost story written by Michelle Paver. It is set in 1937 in the uninhabited Bay of Gruhuken in the Arctic. It tells the story of a group of young men going on an Arctic expedition to study biology, geology, and ice dynamics. The story is told in the form of a journal written by Jack Miller, the expedition's wireless operator. Okay, so I think it's going to be a good book to read, and I'm going to look for it because this is the thing that I like about this book. It says that it's going to be written as a form of journal, like a diary. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to read it. Okay, now let me go back over here. Let's see. No, never mind. Okay, so I'm going back to your book, and right here we have the information. Oh, I almost forgot the questions. Okay, it says, have you read any ghost stories? Probably you haven't read any ghost stories, but you probably know some stories that you heard from your relatives, your grandpa, your grandma, or urban scary stories. For example, La Llorona, that's very popular. In the United States, we have the one that is called the boogeyman. It is similar to El Coco in Mexico, the boogeyman. If you don't sleep on time, the boogeyman is going to come and catch you. Okay, those are examples. Now you can think of some examples, and because we're going to talk about this during virtual class. And remember that you need to participate. Okay, I don't know if Ms. Karen sent you a notice, but it is important for everybody to participate. So I'm hoping that you guys will be ready to participate next virtual class. Okay, now I'm going back to this part over here. And what I want you guys to do, I'm going to take the time right now to play the audio. Why am I doing this? Because I want you guys to pay attention to the information, because we cannot read the whole thing during virtual class because it's going to take too much time. So please listen to it before the class so we can start working with it without losing any time. Okay? Pay attention.
Dark Matter. Dark Matter is a ghost story written by Michel Paver. It is set in 1937 in the uninhabited Bay of Grohuken in the Arctic. It tells the story of a group of young men going on an Arctic expedition to study biology, geology, and ice dynamics. The story is told in the form of a journal written by Jack Miller, the expedition's wireless operator. Part 1.
I suppose it's to be expected that Grohuken should make me feel a little uneasy from time to time. To stand on that slope and know that there's nothing to the west of you until Greenland, nothing to the east except the Arctic Ocean, nothing to the north until the North Pole, and that's just more nothing. With a jolt, I realized that I'd forgotten my gun. I thought of bears and started back, annoyed that I'd made such a basic mistake. Twilight came on as I scrambled over the stones. The wind dropped to a whisper. I heard the creak of my anorak, my laboring breath. I was still 500 yards above camp when I saw a man standing in front of the cabin by the bear post. His back was turned, but I could tell it wasn't Algie or Gus. It must be one of the crew, taking a long last look at the cabin he'd helped to build.
Part 2.
Out of nowhere, for no reason, I was afraid, not merely apprehensive. This was deep, visceral, pounding dread. My skin prickled. My heart thudded in my throat. My senses were stretched taut. My body knew before I did that I was not alone. 30 yards away on the rocks, something moved. I tried to cry out. My tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. It crouched at the edge of the rocks. It was streaming wet. It had just hauled itself from the sea, and yet the stillness was absolute. No sound of droplets pattering on snow. No creak of waterproofs as it rose, slowly, awkwardly. It stood. It faced me. Dark, dark against the sea. I saw its arms hanging by its sides. I saw that one shoulder was higher than the other. I saw its wet, round head. I knew at once that it couldn't be some trapper from a nearby camp, or a polar mirage, or a trick of the light. I knew what it was. I knew, with some ancient part of me, that it wasn't alive. I willed myself to take my electric torch from my pocket and walk down the beach and on to those rocks. The snow crust was brittle as glass beneath my boots. Pristine, no tracks, no marks of a man hauling himself out of the sea. I'd known that there wouldn't be, but I needed to see for myself. I stood with my hands at my sides, hearing the slap of waves and the clink of ice. The dread had drained away. My thoughts swirled. It can't be. But I saw it. It can't be. But I did see it. And I know, although I can't say how I know, that what I saw on those rocks was the same figure I saw at the bear post 2 months ago at first dark. It's real. I saw it. It isn't alive.
Okay, so please listen to it before the class so we can talk about it during virtual class. Okay, this is the purpose of this previous video, so we can go ahead just for a little bit, or for you to have an idea what is the class going to be and solve all the answers during virtual class. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a few words. For example, scrambled, you probably know the meaning of it. With a jolt, what is the meaning of this? You need to find out. and you probably find the answers right here. Now the next one, pounding, crouched, brittle, howling. Okay, so please find the answer. You can use Google, or you can use the translator or the dictionary, which is going to be English dictionary. Find the definition, and then you choose the correct answer right here. Okay, so now let me go back to the book. It says read the study skill and match the definitions below with the highlighted words and expressions, then read the extracts. For example, beating very hard, like your heart. What would be the meaning of this? Brittle, howling, with a jolt, scramble, pounding, crouch. This is why I tell you to look for the definitions, okay? I can show you the answers, but this time I won't do it because I want you guys to find it by yourself, okay? And during virtual class, you can help me with the definitions, okay? If you need to do, or if you need to hear the audio again, you can always go back a little bit in the video and listen to it as many times as you need. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the book right here. Another activity right here. Read the extracts and choose the correct answer. Gruhuken is, what is that place? Near other towns and cities, a very flat place, a very isolated place, part of Greenland. Okay, choose the correct answer. We're going to check all the answers during virtual class. Number 2, the man Jack sees is not one of his friends, someone he knows, a crew member from a local ship, the person who built the cabin. What is the correct answer? You already know. Good. Now the next one. Jack feels when he sees the wet figure. He feels calm and untroubled, frightened and uncertain, nervous but unconcerned, terrified and uneasy. Okay. Number 4. Jack had first seen the figure a few months ago in the evening, 2 months ago just as night was falling, 2 months ago in the middle of the day, 8 weeks ago as the sun was rising. Okay, so you can read the whole thing again. You can always go back to listen and to read at the same time. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the book. Now, right here. Discuss these questions in pairs. How do you think you would feel in Jack's position? What would you have done? What do you think Jack saw? Okay. We're going to talk about this information during virtual class. Okay, we have a lot to do. The only thing that I want you to do, or your homework, is to read and pay attention to the information about the journal, this one right here. Okay, so see you guys next class and take care.